I'll bring you a report about the Student Loan Trust Fund momentarily and what students are saying about it. But what we know is about 32,000 continuing students who applied for student loans to cushion them financially for the 2018-2019 academic year had not received their monies from the Student Loan Trust Fund 3 months into their academic year. And if you've been in school, you know that that could be a very big wahala. Well, this year isn't different. Students have even threatened to embark on a demonstration because their monies were not paid on time. So let's continue this discussion. I have here in the studio with me, like I said, a representative from the Student Loan Trust Fund. He's in the person of Kweku Sego. Kweku Sego is the Senior Operations Manager for the Student Loan Trust Fund. Mr. Sego, thank you for coming. So you need to answer all of these questions for a student for us. By the way, if you are a student, you have an experience you want to share with us on our social media handles, log on to our Facebook page. Let us know your thoughts. We'll bounce it off Mr. Sego and hopefully get you some response. What is happening at Student Loan Trust Fund? Why are the monies delaying?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, Gifty. Let me look at it from this. I've seen your data and I find it quite interesting. Okay. I don't know how current it's being like, because the situation on the ground do not reflect what the data do not support the situation on the ground.
Which data are you?
32,000 students who have not been paid. You know, that's not the case.
Okay, what is the case then?
Yeah, it is the case that the whole of last semester we paid the loans due. It's this, in fact, this semester, as we speak to you now, we've even started disbursing.
I think it's more about how late
yes,
the disbursement
yes,
gets.
and once again, your intro also mentioned the fact that it's been the trend. No, that is not the case. It's the case that this particular year,
I can say it's been a trend because I have been a student before, and when I was a student, I knew we had that experience.
What year was it? What period?
This was about 2007, 2006.
Okay, so definitely.
It's definitely been a trend.
It's under student loan, and I can address it because currently, the arrangement that we have in place is that we pay you 2 weeks for first-time applicants, 2 weeks upon.
2 weeks to the
2 weeks when you apply. 2 weeks upon receipt of your data and everything is right. We'll pay within 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, then for continuing students,
just let me just address our viewers that here. So just so we don't get it wrong, and just so we can test what Mr. Sego is saying from the Student Loan Trust Fund, that the on the ground, what's happening on the ground is different from what they have in their books. We like to hear from you. So you are a student, you have your own experience, you understand the process better. Do send us a message on our Facebook platform so that we can test the figures also that Mr. Sego has for us. Do go ahead.
Yeah, so as I said, then for continuing student, that's per your intro. We pay them 2 days when we receive the school list from the school. The school list means that it's a register of that the school compiles of students who have reported for academic work in that particular year. So until we get that list, we will not be able to pay you. But we know. We admit that this particular year we've had challenges with flow of funds. But this particular year is not that it's been the norm. This particular year you have that challenge. And I said, as I speak to you now, we've cleared all arrests as of last semester. So all that is remaining.
How long did it take for you to clear the outstanding disbursements? Into at the beginning of the semester, how long into the semester did it take for you to disburse that?
It depends on how soon or how fast we get the school list.
Because so the report we have says that 3 months. It took about 3 months to send in.
You see, it depends on how fast we get the school list.
Okay.
So immediately the school list comes, those we verify and validate, we pay.
You pay.
And so as we speak now, how do you mean?
Who's responsible for the school list?
It's the school authorities, and so we ask them to the school SRC leadership to liaise with the school authorities so that they will release it, because the earlier we get it, the better we'll do that. But as I said, this second semester, in fact, just last month, we've tried to resolve the challenges that we face, and we've paid over 10 million students to more than 8,000 students. As I speak to you now, disbursements are ongoing, so we'll use this opportunity to assure the students that their monies we're going to get before they go on vacation. Yes.
They're going to get their monies before they go on vacation. So these are the points that you've made so far. First of all, you are debunking the fact that delays in disbursement of Student Loan Trust Fund is a trend. Although I disagree with you, and I'm sure that my viewers, when we get to their comments on Facebook, would disagree with you as well. I disagree with you based on my experience. Yes. I didn't take student loan, but I knew I had friends, I had colleagues who took student loans, so I knew. So I know that it's a trend. That's one thing. And another thing is that you're saying usually what causes the delay, it's not from the student loan trust fund. Sometimes it's also from school authorities and the SRC, because they need to bring you a list. As early as the list comes, is as early as you can pay. Okay. But let's go. But you've also admitted that this year you've had challenges.
Yes,
do you want to share with us some of these challenges?
Oh, basically, as I mentioned, it's more of like flow.
No money.
Flow, not that no money, but then the rate at which it comes. You know, we are a government-funded institution.
Okay.
And it comes maybe the first quarter, there will be a delay in that sense when it hits our account.
Okay.
But as I said, that is not.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it is, and that is why we are here to have this discussion.
Okay.
Where we look at our sources of fund and where we invite, we invite the public to play the role that they have, especially students who have completed school.
So we'll look at the sources of funding. But let me go on Facebook. The people have some questions and some thoughts to share with us. So this is what we put on Facebook. We ask you if you're a student loan beneficiary, whether you received your loan from the Student Loan Trust Fund, and whether or not there are any issues you want to address, because we told you we had a big man here in the studio today to deal with all of the issues here on the post. So in fact, we even have his picture, so you're all over our social media platforms. So let's see what people are saying. Okay, let me start with Kelvis slogan. It says you claim payment is ongoing, which is never true. Why can't I think he's trying to say, why can't you just tell the government to release funds for disbursement? So that's number one. George Tete says he shouldn't come there and claim payment is ongoing. It isn't ongoing. Lies. Let's go up. This one says, why do they continue deducting even if you finish? So let's deal with the first three, which seems to be talking about one thing, which is what you have addressed. It says that Sikano Ohi, you said the money is being disbursed, but everybody else is saying it's not true.
It wouldn't happen that somebody who is receiving money will come and contradict those who have not received, because he is not, let me use the word, he is not pushed. It's these people, and they can say, but the point we are making is that payment is ongoing. Some have received their monies.
Some have not received.
Oh yes, some have. That's as I say, it's ongoing. Okay. We started disbursing for the second semester. If they would come out, they will admit that they've received their first semester. Okay,
so Jotete and can we go up again to those three comments? So Kelvis, George, and Atambogu Felix. Okay, Atambogu, we'll discuss your issues momentarily, but these two people said you claim payment is ongoing. It is never true. Well, Kelvis, he says that do check with your friends. Some of them have received the money. If yours hasn't come, he says payments will come in.
Definitely get their money.
When will they get the money?
I don't know which batch they are in, but definitely everybody will be paid before.
Okay. Biogo Felix says, why do they continue deducting even if you finish paying off the loan? Do you want to address that?
Yes. We say the fund is grateful to people like Atembigo because they live up to their responsibility by paying their loan. It is not deliberate that you finish paying, who deduct their money. Something would have gone wrong with the controller or the employer. That would have resulted in that. But then when you draw attention to that fact, we'll do the necessary correction.
Is it also a trend?
Oh, no.
It's not a trend?
No.
Okay.
Because you owe as you finish paying.
Can you go to the bank and ask the bank to stop the deduction automatically?
Definitely, if you paying through standing order through the bank, yes. You can stop when your loan is fully repaid. The same way, if you go paying through employer, I know multimedia, you pay for beneficiaries who are employed here. Okay. So when the student finishes paying, we send you a letter that this person has finished paying, please stop further deduction. But however, if there's for any time lapse, maybe the time the person paid the last one, the preceding payment will be ready and it comes in, we will have your refund for you.
Okay.
So you
can I go, assuming I was paying student loan and I finished, can I go to my employer and ask them to stop payments? Yeah, to the extent that you finish paying, yes. Okay. But if you've not finished paying, your employer can do it. So because I'm wondering how I'm wondering how it's the money is being deducted. I guess it's with controller. Okay, so controller is paying. So then it's the controller, process. And you see the time lapse that I spoke about, time flow of funds. Okay. They will deduct. We'll get the money about 2 weeks in the following preceding month, the ensuing month. Then by then they would have started running the previous month's pay rule. Okay. So although you finish paying, by the time the other will come,
Then, so it takes time before we notice that you finish paying. But then, as I said, you refund your money to you.
They will refund your money. But if you're a student and you find yourself in such a situation, you can certainly approach the office and they will sort it out for you. Patrick Nanaya Obain says, please, he should tell us if they don't want to give us the money so we know what to do. I schooled at Nasford University. I've applied, and since the money have not come, what kind of life? You want to say you've applied, and since then, the money has not come. What kind of life is that? Okay, Hamza Idrisu says, why is it that the loan that is supposed to pay for books and also school fees comes when students are at home on vacation? So let's do these two questions. One of them says, she says it's applied, the money is not coming. The second one says, why is it that the money comes at a point where we're already out of school? Meanwhile, we need the money when we are in school.
Yes, in fact, that is why we are here. That is why we wake up every morning and go to school. The government set that up to support students. It is not the case that we don't disburse when we have to. As for Patrick's case, I don't know if it's got to do with a particular problem, but that is not the case. Definitely, he should have received the first semester disbursement. So it's not that the money has not come to him at all. For
Patrick is saying the money hasn't come. Idrisu is saying that the money comes when he is out of school, but he needs the money when he is in school.
Definitely, that is a good call. But the point we're making is that it's not that they get the money when they are out of school, but it's the case that this particular year we've had some challenges. But then, as I said, the challenges have been resolved and we've started paying.
Okay, let's go up. Gavo Charles says they should stop the compound interest calculation. 2, loan beneficiaries are not working. So even if they take them, to court, they will not pay. So I believe this one ties into. We can start our next batch of conversation or our next level of conversation with the sources of funding, which is also when students who have taken loans pay back. Now, this gentleman is talking about compound interest calculation and the fact that loan beneficiaries they have no jobs, so they can't pay you back.
I don't know what you mean by compound.
I was coming to you for explanations.
Yes, okay. This is how we compute the interest rate. The rate that we charge is the lowest on the market. You don't get it anywhere.
Which is?
Because we currently doing 12% whilst you are in school. 12%. Because it's a government set up to support education. So it is not that we charge in interest. All that we do as far as the interest is concerned is just to maintain the fund. Because, you know, 1 cedi today will not be 1 cedi tomorrow. But for that, we didn't charge. It will be 0 interest. But we need to sustain the fund. That is why we charge a little bit of interest. Besides, the students have as long as 10 years to repay the loan when they leave school. So that takes care of the interest rate. Yes, we know beneficiaries will always say that they're not working. But we are not asking them to pay all the money.
But do you have a way of following the progress of students to make sure that they are indeed working, so that those who are deliberately not paying? I know people who have said, student loan, we'll take the money, we will not pay.
Yes.
So those people are there. Don't you think you need a system, a workable system that can trace the student and make sure that they pay back so that we can sustain the fund?
We do. We have arrangement with stakeholders like SNIT that we use. That's those in the formal sector. We go through the formal sector and use their SNIT contribution to trace where they work. And that's how come we identify some students, some of our borrowers with multimedia. So we do have that. But then the fact remains that it's not all of them that are in the formal sector. So we try and use this opportunity like media engagement to reach out to them and listen. Yes, you may not be in the formal sector. You meant something little. Because currently the average monthly payment for students should be about 50 cedis maximum. 50 cedis a month. 50 cedis a month.
If you're a student and you took student loan, 50 cedis a month, if you have started working, please pay so that your other colleagues in school can also get the money. 50 cedis a month, I think it's quite reasonable.
To that extent, we've made available over 380 pay points throughout the whole country. GT Bank, EcoBank, DCB Bank, and NIB.
If it's, okay.
So you walk into any of these branches and tell them that you want to pay your student loan. You just go there with your SNIT number. It will be sorted out for you, so that you contribute to the sustenance of the fund.
So your other colleagues in school will not complain. Let's wrap up this conversation. I'm going to take 2 or 3 last thoughts here. Bansi Hakim says, we are really frustrated on our campuses. My name is Hakim, a student of UCC, that's University of Cape Coast. I don't sleep in my hostel again because my landlord keeps on disgracing me, insulting me. Now he has warned me to throw my stuff away. So he's warned that he will throw your stuff away because I've not finished paying yet. Now I owe almost everyone close to me. I'm really suffering. They keep telling us funds have been released for more than a month now, yet we have not received anything. Hakim, I'm really sorry about your situation, but stop borrowing, especially when you don't have the money yet, and try and live within your means. But we'll get some answer from you from the Student Loan Trust Fund. Banoy Richard says, Banoy Buri says, I applied for student loan when I was in first year, but by the time I was due for the processing of application, the year had ended. I believe you want to write. I was asked to file a fresh application, which I did with a new date. I was then in second year. I was paid one semester. That's last semester. Am I going to be paid the 1 year, 2 semesters too? So the previous one that you applied for, I see Mr. Sego shaking his head, so I don't know, but he will address that. Final thought here that I can take. Pipra says they should enact another loan scheme for unemployed graduates. When we start working, we will pay all. Amen. Until then, so what the cry? Okay. George says, I haven't been paid this semester's loan, and I have just 2 days until vacation. A lot more of my colleagues are in the same situation. When is disbursement going to be made? So let's deal with the other two at the top, because I think George's issue you have already addressed. He said the disbursement is ongoing at the campuses. So the other two, the guy talks about the fact that he owes everybody around him. The money has still not come. Richard said he applied previously. He didn't get the money, but the second year he's gotten the money. Is he going to get for the first one that he applied?
Before I come to that, okay. You can see from Richard and one other, they've admitted that the first semester has been paid. That's the point I made from the beginning. So the payment is ongoing. Everybody's first semester is being paid. If there's any outstanding, it's left with the second semester, which will definitely be paid. Richard's case, he's saying that he applied for the first when he was in level 100, I guess. And he didn't go through.
He didn't get it.
Yeah, so that one is passed. You won't get that money.
He won't get the money.
Yes.
So he's just concentrate on the
way
second
going forward. Going forward.
Okay.
So he was paid last semester, one semester. I guess this semester is outstanding. He'll be paid. Then when he goes to 300 and 400, he will be paid.
He will be paid. Yeah. But the one that he applied previously, he will not be paid.
Yes, because he even said that
the year had ended.
The year had ended, so he had to put in fresh application. So it's a fresh application that way.
Okay, and I believe that this addresses a lot more of your questions. Those of you who have, and those of you who have shared with us on Facebook, that you've had these answers and you're satisfied. But quickly, we need to wrap up this conversation because of time. But the disbursement of the money, you said, is government not giving the Student Loan Trust Fund enough money?
Government so far has lived out to its responsibility. As I mentioned, it's got to do with the flow of funds, not that government has reneged on it.
Government has not reneged, but within what time does government pay? It is a timing, because everybody is complaining about how they are in school and they sometimes get the money when they're out of school. So government is not releasing the money on time, is it?
Yeah, as I said, this particular year we've had that challenge. It's not that government is not been releasing the money.
Okay.
So I would like to put it on record as that we get the money, but this particular year, the flow is what is distracted us a bit. Okay. So definitely everybody that's student owes, we're going to pay their money too.
Do you have any final words?
Yes, let me take advantage and say, yes, the government resourced institution, but then we need to sustain the fund. So I'll take this opportunity to tell the people out there that please let's try and repay our loans to sustain the fund for the benefit of the future. Because as you can see, students are complaining. Yeah. So if you've completed school and you are working, you are not paying, students will complain like that, and we are all not happy when somebody has to move from his hostel.
So certainly, if you put so much stress, it will break down. Now, the stress that you put on the system is when you take the loan and you do not pay back. So the point is, even as we expect that they will pay the money on time, people who have taken the loans are not paying back. Do pay back, he says. Mr. Sego, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
He's a Senior Operations Manager with the Student Loan Trust Fund, helping to answer some of your questions that you brought to us.